So now let's get into Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is 4 hours long. This review will not be 4 hours long. But opening thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League. Also, has everybody seen the 2017 Justice League?
Yes. Regrettably now.
Atticus, you haven't?
No, I have. Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay. So we all have. Okay. Yeah. I'll start with Thomas on this one. Opening thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I mean, it's hard to give sort of a 30-second overview of it. But just, wow, it was very, very good. And yeah, it didn't feel like 4 hours. That's what I will say. It breezed by, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Atticus, I know you watched it in like the middle of the night.
I kind of almost fell asleep. Just because I was so tired, not because it was boring or anything.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured since you were up until 4 a.m. watching the movie. But what were your thoughts, even if you were half asleep throughout the entire film?
I'm gonna have to say that I like how they took out the weird one-liners that everybody had. It was very awkward and not funny at all. And I really liked how they, like, this is a little thing, but the weird flirting between Batman and Wonder Woman and like that shirtless scene, I was just like, this is unneeded. This is no. I don't want this to happen at all. But other than those two things, I think that this was an improvement.
For sure, absolutely an improvement. The one good liner they left in was, "I'm rich." Perfect.
Yes.
So, no, my opening thoughts, I think this is a massive improvement. The 4 hours did not feel like 4 hours. I watched the first half of it, and then I just rewatched the entire thing. So I actually committed 6 hours to this movie.
Wow.
So, the massive improvement. I love the 3:4 aspect ratio. I love the cinematography. It's really incredibly shot. It's really well written. Like you were saying, Atticus, like a lot of it flowed better. A lot of the characters felt as though they had better chemistry. Cyborg and Flash, massive.
It just gave more context. Yeah,
for sure. It explains it better.
Yes.
Because like even though the original version was 2.5 hours, it still didn't. That last hour and a half is very important. It gives what you need to explain more about like Steppenwolf, because like Steppenwolf was not the main villain. Like it was Darkseid forcing Steppenwolf to do this. That works so much better for Steppenwolf rather than just I'm bad and I want these boxes. Like he actually has motivation as a villain, which is very important to give your villain motivation. Cyborg and Flash, like giving their backstory, even just that car scene with the Flash, like that builds so much of his character just in one scene that we know what this character is. We know what this character's ideals are. So now we care about this character when he goes into this massive fight. And during the final battle, when he gets like shot and has to like limp his way, and then we get the call back to the Batman vs Superman like vision scene that Bruce had where he rewinds time. That like it was all set up. Like Justice League felt like we're gonna pay off things that we didn't set up. We're gonna be like, oh, this is a really cool thing, but we didn't set it up at all, so nobody cares. This took the time to set everything up and then paid it off for us. Because like with the Avengers, like pretty much everybody got like a movie to set them up before it. With this, we just had Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Wonder Woman. Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman were unseen before this, but all three of them, like, and it really focused on Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman. Like if you look at who had the most screen time in the movie, it was Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman. So
which I liked a lot.
Yeah, like they were the heart of the movie because they had to be. We all know and love Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman from previous films. But this made us love Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman, so that way we cared about every member of the team. Sorry, that was long. But moving on, let's just take each character one by one, and then we can talk about the epilogue. So let's start with Superman. What did we think of Superman's arc throughout it? I'll start with Atticus.
I think that it was different from the Justice League, Joss Whedon one. Not a whole bunch, but still, it was like he had more. I feel like he had more motive and more. He was more useful, I guess, because he came at the last second in the original one, and this time he was there for not all of it, but a good portion of it. And I also was like, how did he not know, or how did he know where they were fighting if he was didn't even know why they needed him? So I like how he went to Alfred and was like,
because he's Superman.
Yeah, but I like how he went to Alfred and was like, where are they? I want to help, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it was interesting.
Also, the
suits was interesting too.
Black suit is so freaking dope. I love it. Thomas, your thoughts?
Well, you can tell the difference between this version of the Superman and the one in the Justice League from the opening scene. With the 2017 one, it's got that really weird and silly scene with the phone and stuff. So, and this time it's got just a lot better opening where it really sets a tone. But I mean, a lot of the major criticisms that was going in before this film of Superman was that, it's not going to be the Superman that people know and love. It's sort of a different take on it. But as someone who's never a massive fan of Superman, I'm not very bothered that they've made him darker. I think it just makes the character more interesting, really.
Well, and it follows along with what Zack Snyder has done. He's making DC dark and gritty. And some people don't like that, but at least he's consistent. He makes it dark and gritty, and he commits to it. And he doesn't, it doesn't work for some people. Fine. But it really works for other people. I enjoy it. I really, really love Man of Steel. Batman vs. Superman, I'm a bit less high on, but the extended cut is definitely, it does the same thing for Batman vs. Superman as I think this does, to a lesser degree, but it definitely explains a lot more things and sets up a lot more things, and makes it more clear, everything that's going on. I just think a lot of Zack Snyder's, the problem with a lot of his movies is he needs 3-4 hours to tell his stories, and that just generally isn't accepted by studios. Because his stories are just so massive.
I don't think this would be shown if it was having to be shown exclusively in cinemas. If this was to release a year ago, I don't think it would have been. They wouldn't have allowed it to be 4 hours. So I think it's probably good that it's been released in this sort of condition.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. But no, I really like Superman. I love the not impressed line. That was fun.
I'm not impressed. And I like how he was he was not stabbed, but he was the axe went down on his arm and Dark Sides when they was fighting. I thought that was
so. Let's talk about the villains now. What did we think of Steppenwolf and/or Darkseid? I'll start with Thomas.
If you mentioned before, Steppenwolf got a lot more development here, and I think it was much needed. To me, he was just very boring in Justice League. But here, he had a lot more, depth. I think the only worry is that Darkseid has sort of turned into the Steppenwolf character. Sort of, he's just evil, wanting the boxes. But the thing is, showing how scared Steppenwolf was of Darkseid automatically raises the stakes, I guess. But the only worry is that he doesn't fall too much into that. Just an evil villain.
For sure, but I think that's fine because we haven't developed Steppenwolf as much because this was supposed to be a trilogy. This is Thanos, using Loki as his pawn in 2012's The Avengers. Loki's a very interesting villain with motivations because he has this higher power that he's serving. We don't know what Thanos is other than he wanted Loki to do this. And to like get the Infinity Stones. So it's very, very similar, I think, in that way. But Atticus, your thoughts on the villains?
I thought that they were pretty great. Just because they had obviously more development. But I mean, obviously Steppenwolf is strong and stuff, but I didn't like how they kept downplaying the Amazons' abilities and how they were just getting slaughtered. I thought they would put up, more of a fight.
I think,
but
sorry to cut you off. I think you have to have that since they're the first place that Steppenwolf attacks. I think you have to have that to establish how much of a threat Steppenwolf is. Because I mean, and it's not like he does the same thing to the Atlanteans, just completely murks them.
Right.
So I just it makes more. You have to do that because I think that you're right. Like the Amazons do have the ability to take on Steppenwolf, especially with strength and numbers. But same thing with the Atlanteans. The Atlanteans too, they could take on Steppenwolf because you saw the Atlanteans and the Amazons defeated Steppenwolf or Darkseid, who's much more powerful. Granted, with the help of like the Green Lanterns and men and the gods,
Zeus and Ares. Yeah,
you're right. Right, but still, like, I think that as Thomas was saying, just immediately raise the stakes. Like he did a perfect job establishing the scope of this by setting up, just echoing what you guys were saying, just the stakes of the movie very early on. But Atticus, continue on.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, I thought that was it. Yeah.
Those are my thoughts. Nope, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Let's move on to Bruce Wayne / Batman. Thomas.
I think he was honestly one of the weak characters, and even that's saying something because I really did enjoy him, but he didn't get as much development, which is fair enough, considering time did have to be given to Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman, and time was given to him in Batman v Superman. But yeah, he still had a lot to do, and I think the whole assembling the team segment was a lot longer and a lot more fleshed out, and it really did need to be. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was a lot more fun just seeing him travel around. I did really like Bruce Wayne, like you're saying, not a lot to do. But we already, like, everybody knows who Batman is. Everybody knows that Batman's cool. Everybody knows that Batman's the leader of this team. So it makes a lot more sense to focus on everybody else. Atticus, I know Batman's one of your favorite characters of all time. So what were your thoughts?
Yes.
What were your thoughts on Bruce Wayne in this film? Sorry, before you start. Ben Affleck, Batman. Really, really good as Bruce Wayne. Okay, go ahead, Atticus.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. I don't like Ben Affleck as much just because...
What?
I mean, I think that his acting as Bruce Wayne is a little... I don't know. He's trying to be funny, and I don't think that portrays the character as, brooding and... I don't know. That's just my standpoint, just because I've read so many Batman comics.
That's fair. That's fair. If I can
it's just like so consistent in the Batman comics that it's I don't know.
If I can just say, this is like an older Batman. Like this isn't like he's been doing this for 20 years, so it isn't like he's like at the start of it like very like dark and brooding and serious and closed off. Like he's a bit more experienced and a bit more fun. So just like Superman, it's a different take than in the comics, which like is. Zack Snyder stuff works for some people and doesn't work for others. So,
right, and I don't mind like a lot of it, but it's just But more on the character, I think that it was given more attention, I think, and I liked how he played a big role in this movie. And obviously he did, in the original one, but like the 2017 one, but like I feel like he had a bigger role in Zack Snyder's cut, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I do think the character was better in this, just with like trying to be too funny and stuff. It was better in this than in the Whedon version.
I agree.
Okay, now let's move on to Wonder Woman. Thomas, your thoughts on Diana Prince in this film?
Again, much like Batman, she didn't have as much to do, but she had a little more to do with her discovering about the mother boxes. And yeah, I thought Gal Gadot was again very good. I haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984.
I don't think you
need
want
to.
After this.
Yeah, you don't need to.
So, yeah, but I just so I don't really know where her character's going after this.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, she was fine, really.
I maintain, I think,
standout character, put it that way.
Right. I maintain with Atticus my thoughts on Gal Gadot. I don't think she's a good actor, but she's a fantastic Wonder Woman.
Yes.
I don't like she's an okay actor, but her as Wonder Woman is one of the greatest casting choices ever. She's so good in that role.
Just like Chris Evans as Captain America, just like perfect role.
Right, but I do think that he can act in other things. Like same thing with Robert Downey Jr. Gal Gadot hasn't. I love Knives Out. Gal Gadot, I haven't seen much from her that convinces me that she's great. Otherwise, I'll see what I think of Death on the Nile and Cleopatra. The coming couple years, because she's working again with Patty Jenkins on Cleopatra. So I'll see what I think of that. But yeah, so Atticus, your thoughts on Wonder Woman in this film?
I think that she did a way better job on this than she did in 1984. 1984 was just a disappointing mess. It just didn't live up to the first one, which, I mean, you shouldn't be like, oh, it should be just like the first one because it was so good. But, like, it was still disappointing. And I felt like in this Zack Snyder cut, I feel like she did a way better job acting and otherwise,
Yeah. For sure. I think this was one of her better performances as Diana Prince. Also, just going back to Superman, I loved his relationship with Lois and Martha Kent. Why did you say that name? But I did enjoy all of the stuff with them. I wish we could have gotten a bit more. I like a bit more Lois and a bit more Martha Kent. But that's just me. I did like all of those interactions though once Clark had returned. But Thomas, let's talk about Aquaman.
Yeah. So my problem with Aquaman here was he is very different in this film than he was in the 2018 Solo film.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but because it's played by the same actor, it sort of is a bit, I don't know, there's a bit too much difference there for me. I mean, he was good in this film. I mean, he had more development, he had a bit more to do, and his decision to help fight was really set up a bit more. But yeah, as I say, there was a bit too much difference between this one and the 2018 version, which I think is slightly off-putting.
For sure. James Wan and Zack Snyder are just very, very different as far as their directing styles. So it makes sense that they would be different. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. He is very different. But we don't know how long after Zack Snyder's Justice League Aquaman takes place. Because I believe Zack Snyder's Justice League is the new canon.
Yeah. Well, I hope they make it, even if it's not the official canon yet.
Yeah. I believe it is the new canon. I don't know if they're going to continue on with the Snyderverse. but I believe that is the current plan. All right. So Atticus, what are your thoughts on Aquaman?
I liked him a lot in this movie. I also liked him a lot in his standalone movie. But yeah, I don't really have anything like negative to say about him. Besides, I'm glad that he's not doing the, the I don't know, his like scream that he did or whatever in like the last battle. That was like so annoying, and I hated it. But yeah, I thought he was an all around good character.
He definitely has the least amount to do out of the three new characters introduced into this film: Aquaman, Cyborg, and Flash. Which is fine because he was also given his own standalone film afterwards. But yeah, no, I thought he was fine. I think along with Bruce Wayne, probably one of the least memorable characters in the film. But it was still fun to get more set up with him. Also, let's quickly talk about the final battle. Completely different than the Whedon version.
Yes,
this was one of the things. Better. Yeah, they changed completely. Most of the story stayed pretty similar, but this was completely different and a lot better.
No random Russian family that like had flowers taken away from them and then they had to regrow. And no Superman picking up apartment complexes and flying them.
I think I saw something that was like Zack Snyder used like zero amount of footage of Joss Whedon. Yeah. But like I saw some of like the same shots and the same dialogue from the original one.
So there's probably same shots, not same shots, but same dialogue, and then just slightly different shots because he did completely reshoot everything like himself.
Oh, wow.
So it might have been very similar because they might have used some of like the same shots that he had planned out, and Joss Whedon just shot them.
Okay.
But he reshot everything himself. So even if it did look similar,
looked very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So even like with the epilogue, like the Deathstroke Lex Luthor thing, that was completely reshot. Even though it was a very similar scene. But yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed the final battle way more. We actually got the call back to the Flash running back in time to get to reverse things, which was a callback to Batman v Superman, so that was cool. Since we're on the character right now, thoughts on Flash in this movie? I'll start with Atticus.
I thought that he was way less awkward, and I didn't like that about his character in the original, but I thought that he was more likable just because of like him like talking to his dad and stuff like that. I felt like that was more not powerful, I should say, but like just more meaningful.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. So yeah, I thought that he was a pretty good character and I liked him a lot.
Yeah, a massive improvement on the character. He wasn't like he wasn't like, I mean, how do I want to put this? He wasn't a dumb kid in this. Like, he was to start, but it was because in the other one, it was like, he's a dumb kid at the start. And he kind of learns, but then at the end, he's still a dumb kid, With this, we actually get growth. Like, he's, like, clueless and super awkward at the beginning, and then as everything goes on, he starts to figure out his place in the team. And with that ending culminating scene where he breaks his rules, it's such an incredible scene of him using like the Speed Force. Also really cool, like after like the Justice League was like disintegrated and then they like all came back together, like with all like their blood and bones pushing them back together. It was really, really cool.
Yeah,
but cool. Thomas, your thoughts on Barry Allen, aka the Flash?
He's someone I hated, really. I think it's the best way to put it. In the other one, I really found him very annoying. But in this one, him being, inverted commas, funny. In the last one, him being funny I think it made him less likable in a way than he is here, because he's a lot more realistic and grounded in this version. And yeah, as you said, the backstory to him was a scene that, whilst it could be cut, it did feel very necessary to this version of the film. Also, the bit where at the end, he has a lot more to do in the fight rather than just pushing a car, which I thought was very stupid in the first one.
Yeah, for sure. They gave everybody much more to do in that final battle, which made it a lot more fun and also raised the stakes. Before we talk about Cyborg, who I'm very excited to discuss, let's talk about the epilogue. Any thoughts on the epilogue?
I was confused. Like, I was like, wait a minute, what? And then it was going on a little bit more, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, Jared Leto came up, and I was like, okay, yeah. No. I did not
also
like Jared Leto at all.
Speaking of the Oscars, so happy. Thank would like to personally thank the Academy for not nominating Jared Leto for Best Supporting Actor for The Little Things. Thank you. This is my time. Atticus, carry on.
Yes.
So I thought, well,
yeah.
This is the only part of the film that I thought was unnecessary. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't necessary really to the plot at all. And I think it was Snyder being a bit indulgent here, getting this. But it feels like it's there to set up future stuff, which I hope we get, like with Jared Leto and Lex Luthor here. Yeah.
Right. All that dystopian stuff of Lois died, Superman goes haywire, he kills Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and then they have to stop him. And then by using the Speed Force to stop him, then that opens up the portals for Darkseid to come back, and then there's this massive fight. Which was supposed to be Justice League 2 and 3. Sounds really, really cool. And I think, like Thomas, you said, Epilogue was not needed. All of this could have been cut out. But even the stuff with Lex Luthor and Slade Wilson and Martian Manhunter and Barry Allen getting the Central City, getting a job at the Central City Police Department, all of that. It all, all the Aquaman and Wonder Woman setup. It's also that way we can be like, hey, Warner Brothers, DC, this actually looks really cool. Can you do this? It was for him to show us all the cool stuff that he was kind of planning to do to hopefully get us to push for more, which it worked for me. I want more.
Me too.
Just being completely honest. I absolutely want more Snyder verse. So to finish out the show, let's talk about Cyborg. Atticus, you want to take this one to kick us off?
Yeah. I think he had more depth, and I loved his backstory, even though it was sad. I liked how it was showing him. I felt like there was a weird cut when there was a parademon or whatever in his home searching for the box, and he fought it question mark in the original one, and then his dad found out or came home and was like, oh, they were looking for the box or whatever. I felt like there was a couple of minutes added to that where he was I don't know, I just felt like it gave more context, and I liked how literally this whole movie is context to the first one that left plot holes and just unanswered questions.
Absolutely. Cyborg is the heart of the Justice League in this. He is the core. I love that they didn't just brush over his dad's death. His dad died, but we got to go fight. They actually took a minute to address it, and that it did mess him up. And all the flashback stuff. It really same thing with Barry Allen, the Flash. It makes you care about these characters and makes you want to see more of them and excited to see what they do in the fight. And his moments when he's like inside the box, I love when before he was always like as himself before Cyborg as Victor Stone. And because that's like was the version of himself that he wanted to be. But then when he fuses with the boxes, he embraces himself as Cyborg, and within like his visions, he starts seeing him, not visions, but like when he goes inside this different stuff, he starts seeing himself as Cyborg rather than as Victor Stone. Which I thought was a really, really cool moment. Cyborg's character, like Cyborg might be my favorite character from this film. It's all really well done. I love the moment where he gives the woman like $100,000 that was really struggling. Like his character's such well done. He has such a great arc from when he meets Diana to the end of the film. I really, really love Cyborg in this, and I really love Ray Fisher. And now I kind of do want that Cyborg movie. Also, trivia question, quick. What college was Gotham City Victor Stone's team playing at the college football game in flashback?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
And this is a Schmodown 5-pointer. It is Wisconsin University.
No.
Okay.
University.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, anyways, Thomas, your thoughts?
So there was all a bit of that legal stuff, I think, before this, with Ray Fisher claiming that what he acted was not representative in the film, and you can definitely see why there was a whole legal dispute, because he's basically a different character from this film to the other one. Before he was really very, very forgettable. And to be honest, I thought that was just, Ray Fisher's not a great actor, but actually it was the writing. Because he's great in this, and you just get so much more depth, and you really care about him more than you did in the previous film.
Yeah, Cyborg was just kind of treated as like irrelevant and unnecessary in Joss Whedon's Justice League. In this one, they actually made him a character. Like he went from like a character that I legitimately didn't care about, and like I couldn't tell you like 2 things that he does in 2017's Justice League, to now he's my like legitimately my favorite character coming out of this film.
Yeah.
He's so well done in this, and I'm now very excited to see what else Ray Fisher does, because he is actually a very, very good actor when his stuff is shown. But that is our review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Before we get out of here, what are your guys' ratings of the film, starting with Thomas?
I'd probably go with a solid 9, probably, actually. 9. I'm pushing even a bit higher than that.
I was gonna say 8.5.
I'm going 9. I really, really love this, and the 4 hours breezed by. I didn't like it. Felt like maybe 2.5 hours. It was I did not feel the length. So that is our discussion review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. We will be back for you guys next week with some Falcon and the Winter Soldier reviews of the second episode, and anything else that comes up in the world of movie news. The next big movie that we'll be talking about is Godzilla vs. Kong, which comes out on the 31st, and then Mortal Kombat April 16th are the next big movies. I'm not expecting either of them to be good, but we will see. Thomas, Atticus, anything that you want to say before we close out the show for today?
Not really. I mean, it's been a long show, but it's been fun talking about these great superhero content back again.
Yeah, for sure. Atticus?
Nope.
I love how you actually like think about. Do I have something to say?
Do I want to say what I want to say? No.
Okay. Well, wait. Actually, wait. I do have something to say. So, I collected this comic run of Deceased, and it's a zombie apocalypse kind of thing with the whole DC universe, and they mentioned the anti-life equation,
and it has Darkseid in it, and Darkseid like infuses or like does something to Cyborg where it makes Cyborg the anti-life equation, where he turned into a zombie and started turning everybody into a zombie, and he was the cure and the patient zero. And I think that that was interesting because I was like, wait a minute, is Cyborg, the anti-life equation, or is it just Earth in general? So I was just trying to like picture that, and I just thought that was cool. Anyways,
Yeah,
outro.
you've definitely read a lot more DC comics than I have. I've read quite a bit of Marvel, but you're definitely more informed than DC. But now that Atticus has said every single word that he wants to say on the show, let's get out of here. Thank you guys so much for Atticus. Be good. Thank you everybody so much for listening to the show. We will see you guys next week for Falcon and the Winter Soldier reviews and plenty of other movie news. I will talk to all of you out in listenerland soon. Atticus, Thomas, I will see you guys sooner than next week. But thank you guys again so much for listening. It really means a lot to us. And we will see you guys later. Thank you for listening. Stay safe, everybody, and goodbye.